Have you ever noticed how some people seem trapped in negativity for years while others effortlessly rise above life's darkest moments? What if the key to transforming your mental state isn't found in external circumstances, but in understanding the invisible frequencies governing your emotional world? And what would happen if you discovered that every person who triggers you, even complete strangers, holds the exact key to your most important life lessons? There exists something within you far more powerful than your mind. This extraordinary force can either be your greatest ally or your most formidable opponent. Your mind, with its constant stream of thoughts, can either guide you toward fulfillment or lead you astray into suffering. The choice of which role it plays ultimately rests with you. Consider this: you've worked incredibly hard to achieve what you now possess, perhaps a career milestone, a relationship, or material comfort. Yet how often do you actually enjoy these achievements? True enjoyment becomes impossible when your thoughts constantly drift to last week's disappointments or next month's anxieties. The secret to genuine satisfaction lies in arriving fully where you are right now, embracing what you currently have without wishing for more or lamenting what could have been. As you integrate this awareness into your daily existence, a remarkable shift begins to occur. The simple act of bringing more presence into your present moment transforms everything. I've noticed in my own journey that presence has become my natural state. I immediately recognize when I drift into absence. For others, the opposite might be true. Absence feels normal while moments of presence feel exceptional. The fascinating truth is that you're always present. You simply don't realize it. There's a layer obscuring your awareness of presence, a veil woven from incessant thoughts. When you learn to set these thoughts aside, even momentarily, you suddenly recognize what was there all along. It's like clearing fog from a window to reveal the landscape that was always visible, just temporarily hidden from view. Our modern world operates on an acquisition model of fulfillment. To feel complete, you must attain something external. You need the degree, the job, the money, the car, the relationship. The list of needs never ends. This approach centers entirely around doing and having. But what I'm sharing with you represents a fundamentally different perspective. True fulfillment doesn't require adding anything new. It involves removing what obscures what's already there. This distinction represents the difference between Western and Eastern philosophical approaches. The Western mindset often focuses on accumulation, adding knowledge, experiences, and possessions. The Eastern approach frequently emphasizes uncovering what lies beneath our conditioning, removing obstacles to see what was always present. Neither approach is inherently superior. They offer complementary perspectives that, when balanced, provide a more complete understanding of human experience. You don't need to discard everything you've learned from one tradition to embrace insights from another. The wisdom lies in recognizing when each perspective serves you better. Sometimes acquisition and doing are appropriate. Other times, letting go and being create the breakthrough you seek. The important thing is having access to both approaches, allowing you to choose the most effective tool for each situation. Whatever there is to learn in this world, it's never wasted knowledge, You never know when a particular insight or skill might become essential. As the saying goes, it's better to have something and not need it than to need it and not have it. This principle applies to wisdom traditions as much as to practical skills. I've devoted much of my life to exploring Shaolin practices not because they represent the only valid path, but because they've helped me construct a life I consider worth living. These practices offer a comprehensive approach to existence, integrating physical training, mental discipline, aesthetic movement, dietary wisdom, and daily structure, rather than piecing together disconnected elements from various traditions. Shaolin provides a coherent system with clear direction. This structure might initially seem restrictive. For instance, eating at fixed times, 8 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 6 o'clock, rather than whenever hunger strikes, challenges our conventional notion of freedom. When first adopting such discipline, the mind rebels, constantly reminding you of its hunger or discomfort. But something remarkable happens after consistent practice. You transcend these mental demands. True freedom emerges not when you can eat whenever you want, but when you can wait until the appropriate time without suffering, regardless of what your mind demands. This represents a profound shift in understanding what freedom actually means. Is freedom the ability to indulge every impulse the moment it arises? Or is it the capacity to choose your response regardless of impulses? Consider the person who claims freedom while constantly yielding to temptations that ultimately cause suffering to themselves and others. Are they truly free, or are they enslaved by their own desires? The freedom worth cultivating allows us to live harmoniously with others while honoring our deepest values. It's the freedom that permits each person to live authentically without imposing their way on others. True freedom doesn't declare, "Your way is wrong. You should live as I do." Instead, it creates space for diverse expressions of human potential while maintaining core principles that minimize suffering. As we continue exploring these profound questions about consciousness, freedom, and human potential, we'll discover how energy itself becomes the building material of our reality. How does the invisible world of form transform into tangible experiences? What happens when we align our intentions with the natural flow of creative energy? Let's explore these fascinating dimensions of existence together, as we've discovered how true freedom comes from transcending the mind's demands rather than indulging every impulse. Let's explore how this presence directly impacts your energy and vitality in daily life. The questions about the universe aren't something I claim to have definitive answers to, nor does anyone else. What I'm sharing with you today comes purely from my observations and experiences. I don't present these insights as absolute truth for everyone. I simply know they've consistently worked in my own journey. If something from our conversation proves useful when you try it, that brings me genuine joy. And if someone decides this approach doesn't align with their perspective, that's perfectly fine too. Have you ever wondered what's draining your energy most significantly in the evening hours? More often than not, it's excessive mind activity. This mental hyperactivity acts like an invisible vampire, steadily depleting your vital resources. You might go to bed for a full night's rest yet wake up feeling exhausted and unrecovered. The culprit: your brain remained too active throughout the night, preventing genuine restoration. The solution lies in practicing present moment awareness, especially before sleep, when you stop obsessing over past events or anxiously anticipating future scenarios. You create space for deep, restorative rest. This mindfulness practice directly translates into improved sleep quality. The principle is beautifully simple. When you sleep, truly sleep. When you eat, fully eat. When you talk, completely talk. When you work, entirely work. Yet in today's fragmented world, we've lost this natural alignment. People work while mentally planning dinner, eat while worrying about sleep, sleep while mentally rehearsing tomorrow's presentation, and drive while mentally composing emails. This constant mental division, being physically in one place while mentally elsewhere, creates profound energy leakage. It's like trying to drive with one foot on the accelerator and one on the brake simultaneously. You'll move forward, but at tremendous energetic cost. True presence means bringing your complete attention to whatever activity you're engaged in at this moment. When you're listening to someone, you're fully listening, not formulating your response or thinking about your to-do list. When you're driving, you're completely engaged with the road, not lost in yesterday's argument. This alignment, this synchronicity between your physical activity and mental focus represents the ultimate destination of the spiritual journey. When you achieve this integration, something remarkable happens. The quantity of sleep becomes less important than its quality. The recovery rate transforms dramatically. Personally, I function optimally with 7 hours of sleep. That's my sweet spot for feeling fully restored. 6 hours represents my absolute minimum threshold. While I can temporarily maintain 5 or 6 hours, continuing this pattern for several days begins to deplete energy reserves that cannot be easily replenished. At this point, you're not just spending energy, you're burning through your fundamental life force. This brings us to a fascinating relationship between energy, diet, breathing, and lifestyle. If you want to quickly transform how you feel throughout your day, your baseline energy state, these three elements offer the most direct pathway. When you consume nutritious, life-supporting food, when your breathing apparatus functions optimally, when your lifestyle includes consistent sleep patterns, appropriate rest, and balanced activity, these three pillars create the foundation for abundant energy. Think of these elements as the tripod supporting your vitality. When all three legs are strong, your energy remains stable and abundant. But what happens when one or more of these supports weakens? If your diet lacks essential nutrients, if your breathing is shallow and restricted, if your lifestyle involves irregular sleep patterns and excessive stress, you'll still function, but at a tremendous cost. The energy required to keep you operational despite these deficiencies must come from somewhere. In ancient traditions, we would say it's being extracted from your essence, your core life force. The mathematics of this exchange is straightforward but profound. 4 lifestyle choices plus inadequate nutrition plus compromised breathing equals accelerated aging and shortened lifespan. Have you noticed how some people in their 70s radiate vitality and clarity while others seem depleted by their 40s? The difference often lies not in genetics but in these fundamental energy practices. Each day, we make choices that either preserve and enhance our life force or gradually deplete it. The beautiful truth is that these elements remain largely within your control. You can choose foods that nourish rather than deplete. You can practice breathing techniques that maximize oxygen uptake and energy production. You can establish lifestyle patterns that support rather than undermine your natural rhythms. These aren't complicated interventions requiring special equipment or expensive treatment. They're simple, accessible practices available to anyone willing to prioritize their well-being. As we conclude this exploration of energy mastery, I invite you to observe your own patterns. Where might you be leaking vital force unnecessarily? Are you fully present in your activities, or constantly divided between physical location and mental preoccupation? How might your diet, breathing, and lifestyle be enhanced to support greater vitality? The journey toward energy mastery isn't about perfection. It's about awareness and incremental improvement. Each small shift toward greater presence, each mindful meal, each moment of deep breathing compounds over time into profound transformation. If you found value in these insights about managing your energy and living with greater presence, please consider subscribing to our channel. Each week, we explore practical wisdom for enhancing your vitality, clarity, and sense of purpose. Your journey toward optimal living matters, and we're honored to be part of it. Hit that subscribe button now to join our community of conscious creators. And let's continue this exploration together.